Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Pep Guardiola is furious. He is quite visibly furious about Manchester United's swoop and scoop of Omar Berrada. And look, Man City fans are getting rattled by this. I played the game. I've seen people, I've interviewed people of very serious offences, and I've watched that interview with Pep Guardiola. He is passive aggressive, he is rumbled, he is rattled, and we're going to go through his quotes. But I'm telling you now, he is more rattled than the last custard cream in a biscuit tin. He is absolutely steaming. You could boil a kettle on his head. And it'd be a good surface to do it. There's no hair to get in between it. It's absolutely visible that Pep Guardiola is rattled by our acquisition of Berrada. I mean, to say things like, well, we've still got De Bruyne, we've still got Haaland. I mean, I saw something in The Athletic yesterday about how Manchester United, somebody close to Man United, has likened this signing to that of a teenage Cristiano Ronaldo. And that's too far. You know, you're talking about one of the greatest signings in our history. I don't think Omar Berrada has the right to be classed as that, but it certainly has got Pep Guardiola hot under the collar. We'll go through some of his comments because I don't care what anybody says. You can read him like a book and he's saying one thing, but his body language is saying something completely different. I mean, I thought he was going to cry at one point. He should be sponsored by Kleenex. He was that angry and upset. But we've also got a lot of other things to talk about. A bit of a rumour coming out that Hannibal Mabry has had a bust-up at Sevilla already. Remember, he had a bust-up before. I don't know how true this is, but that would not be a good thing. Potentially a shock late transfer exit for Manchester United. A summer target in Xerxes that continues to develop. We'll talk about that as well. And the potential, still potential, slight potential, small potential of a late loan deal for Manchester United in this January transfer window. But wow, if you've not seen the Pep Guardiola interview, I mean, you don't have to go and watch it. That's up to you. But it's certainly, mind-blowing how he's exposed himself like that. I mean, he may as well walk around the local park. It was ridiculous. It just comes across. I mean, look. We see it with Klopp, and we saw it with other managers. We've seen it with Mourinho, and we've certainly seen it with Pep before. He is the best manager in the league. There's no doubt about that. He's won a treble, and I don't have an issue with his reaction to this because it just exposes what we're learning is that this person that's been acquired by Manchester United is very well established in the game with a fantastic reputation. And I've got no problem with it. I don't really get, why Pep's bumping his gums or Man City fans are going, oh, we don't need him, because it completely and utterly disrespects the job that Berrada's done with other people at Man City over the last decade. He's been a fundamental part of that. I mean, hopefully not a fundamental part of the 115, but, he has been a part of it. And if you are a family, and I think whatever anybody thinks, Pep's got quite a nice, tight-knit team around his CEO, his director of football, Berrada. I think they've got a really tight family team there. And when somebody leaves you to go to Manchester United, there is a betrayal. I have got sympathy with Pep Guardiola. I have got sympathy with Man City in the sense that they're obviously a tight-knit group, and Berrada said, I'm going to Manchester United. And it's not like he's going to Sevilla or he's going to Newcastle or whatever. He's going to Manchester United. So, you've got to acknowledge the fact that quite rightly, they do feel a little bit let down. But as AR says, he's definitely triggered, 100%. Josh Edwards, welcome to the Members Club. I've got my badge. Get your badge in the chat by becoming a member. Nice to see a few in there. Gems, ARJ, Terp, thank you very much. Absolutely legends there. And Conrad says, has given us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, Conrad. He says, I know Pep and Ten Hag have their differences, but one thing they will both agree with is the amazing deals to be had at AC pressure washers. Yeah, I don't know. But look, let me go through this comments from from Pep Guardiola, because I suppose this is where it all starts. He started off about basically we're doing a watch along tonight actually on That's Football, a little bit of a plug. 7 o'clock on United Stand, which means we've got to go down the pub a little bit earlier. 7 o'clock on the United Stand, then straight over to That's Football for Spurs against Man City. Up the Spurs. But this is what Pep Guardiola had to say in his words. And I almost imagine somebody who is a grown man but acting like, you know, somebody's stolen his bag of sweets and it's Friday night and he's sat there watching telly with nothing. His knowledge goes to Manchester United. That's the reality. We learned a lot from Berrada, but he learned a lot from the club, and now he's gone to United. But De Bruyne is still at Man City. Haaland will play here, so it's not that simple. And straight away, I just think bitter. You've won the treble. You've won 3 titles in a row. And you're worried about this guy going to Manchester United. And then in the same statement, you go, we've still got De Bruyne, we've still got Haaland, so it's not that simple. It just straight away comes across as bitter and jealous. And I don't really understand why he needs to do that. What he should say is, Omar Berrada has been a great part of this Man City success story. We wish him all the best in the future as we go our separate ways. Boom, mic drop. But no, we've still got De Bruyne, we've still got Haaland, so it's not that simple. And also to say that, you know, what does that even mean? Like, we don't think because we've got Berrada we're going to be back on the top of football. We don't think that at all. He says, maybe Man United think with this person everything will change. Congratulations. I don't know if that will happen. Well, again, why are you being such a bitch about it? Like, we don't think because we've got a new CEO we're going to be better than Man City. And I don't know why Pep's setting that standard himself. Is that what he's worried about? Who said we've just taken the reason that Man City are successful? And why is Pep getting his knickers in a twist publicly? It's almost like it's burnt him. Oh, everyone's going to think that Man United have got Berrada and that's why Man City are good. It's because of me. It's because of De Bruyne. It's because of Haaland. It's not because of him. It's because of him. She's not fond of him. She's only fond of me. And it just really comes across as spoiled. And I think there's elements of Pep Guardiola that is very spoiled. And if you actually do your digging into Pep Guardiola's background, upbringing, playing player, everything, he does have a little bit of spoilt behaviour within him. He always has had it, and this has come right to the surface again because he's rattled. There's no reason for him to be saying, I don't think it's that simple that you take Berrada and Man United are back. Well, hello Pep, we don't think it either. We really don't think it. Most Man United fans are still working through the fact that the Glazers are still here, and can we be successful with them? But you've got Pep Guardiola going, well, they haven't got De Bruyne, they haven't got Haaland, so just because they've got our CEO, it's not going to be that simple. Yeah, we fucking know, mate. We've still got the Glazers here. We've still got a rusty stadium. We've still got a shit squad. We don't think we're back because we've got a new CEO, and yet Pep Guardiola's acting like we are. So part of me's thinking this deal's even better than I thought it was. The fact that Pep Guardiola is literally shitting himself in an interview saying it won't be that simple. We've still got De Bruyne, we've still got Haaland. We're years away. We're absolutely years away. And yet the manager of the best team in the world is literally virtually crying in an interview because we've taken a guy that was their COO. It's weird behaviour. It's karma for what happened with Tevez, says Anthony. Tamarick says they're going to get us back by signing Garnacho or Menu. Well, look, exactly. I mean, he does talk about players going from one side to another, and he's quite bitchy about that as well. I've just got one thing to say, Pep. Laugh out loud, says DJ John. Thanks for being a member for 57 months. And also JD1, thank you very much for your chat there as well. He also goes on to say he's a lovely person, Berrada, and he's an incredible professional. Yesterday I saw him and I wished him the best because he's a fantastic person. But I don't know if by doing that, everything will work. Well, who's saying this? This is you, Pep? Why are you saying this? Why are you coming out with this crap about, I don't think it's going to work like that. I don't think Berrada going there makes everything better. They haven't got Haaland, they haven't got De Bruyne. I mean, like, you're literally the legend of stating the obvious, mate. We do not think we're back. No Manchester United fan thinks we're back. We're not back. Pep Guardiola, says Simon. I mean, look, maybe it's reverse psychology. Maybe he's just trying to put a bit of pressure on us. But at the end of the day, if I'm Berrada and I'm waking up reading this morning, and I'm Ineos and I'm reading this morning, I'm going, you know what? This Pratt needs bringing down a peg or two. Look, we've brought one person in and he's talking about that won't be enough. That won't be enough. Well, it's just motivation. It's motivation for the CEO. And, you know, it's condescending from Pep. On one hand, he's saying, yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's really professional. I saw him yesterday. He's a great person. You know, I wish him all the best, but he won't be able to do it. And, yeah, he hasn't got De Bruyne. He hasn't got Haaland. He hasn't got me. And if Man United think that that person will change everything, I don't think so. So, yeah. On the one hand, great person, fantastic person, incredible worker, but I don't think he's good enough to make a difference. I'll tell you what I'd be doing with that interview. I'd be pinning it up on the wall, throwing darts at it and saying, right, let's have it. Let's have it. He also goes on to say, if Berrada is not happy here and he wants to go there, he has to leave. What can we do? There is nothing wrong with that. It happens. If we want a Man United player, if United agree to sell him and if the player wants to come, why wouldn't we do it? Yeah, look, you've already done it, mate. You've already done it. You did it with Tevez, but we didn't want him. So I don't think we're going to see Man United players going to Man City ever, unless Man United drop even further than when they are. I think right here, right now, I'd still be stunned if a Man United player went to Man City, but if we can start rising up the league, I don't think it ever happens again. The fact that Pep is rattled makes me more positive about Ineos and Sir Jim, says Seymour. And Gustav says, I go away for 1.5 weeks and United has managed to rattle Pep like this by hiring some of his backroom staff, says Gustav. Well, the funny thing is, and I'm not sure whether anybody else will actually hit this. Maybe a decent journalist out there or one of you is thinking exactly the same as me. One of the biggest disappointments I had when we had Mourinho at Man United was that when we got him, we were like, this is the guy that's going to really get in Pep's head. And he never did. Mourinho never rattled Pep. Maybe because he never had the team to rattle him, but he never did. I don't, you know, normally when Pep talks about United, he's always really condescendingly, oh, you know, they're a good team. They're a good team. Yeah, we like playing. We know they're a hard, and we're like there going, fuck, what's he talking about? We've never really rattled Pep. Well, we have now. We've never really rattled him. I can't think of many occasions where he's been, you know, rattled by Man United, and this has definitely rattled him because I think, as I said, it's like losing a family member. It's like a family member betraying you, and you can sense that in him. So it's interesting because for me, I agree with a lot of you in the chat. This is just a CEO. It's not a centre forward. It's not a coach. This is just a CEO, and he's acting like that. So it just adds to the significance of the deal, in my opinion. Pep on Berrada again. If it does happen, Man United becoming immediately successful, then oh my God, they have to make a stand for Omar in the future because he deserves it. He's such a brat. He is such a brat. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just find it hilarious. He's, as I said, put a biscuit in. Get a biscuit tin, put a custard cream in it, shake it all around, and that'll rattle less than Pep is at the moment. And Man City fans will be going, "Why would he be rattled? Why would he be rattled? We've won the treble. We're going to win the Premier League again. We might win the treble again. Why would he be rattled?" Exactly. I don't understand it, but in my opinion, and most people who watch that interview, he's rattled. Look at the body language. So you can deny it all you like. The last thing I thought I was going to be doing this morning was leading the show on Pep Guardiola being rattled about as appointing a CEO, but I watched it. I got sent messages about it last night. I watched it again, and I was like, yeah, it is incredible. And look, in addition to that, there was that line in The Athletic today where a source has said this is seen as significant a signing as when we signed a teenage Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, I think that's bloody ridiculous. You know, I'll be on Pep's side there. I think that's bloody ridiculous. But you know, and the way I look at it with Berrada is, if you like playing tennis, and your garden doesn't have a tennis court, and then you build a tennis court, you can play tennis. You can't play tennis in your garden if there's no tennis court. Oh, don't talk to me about putting a bit of string up and that you know, what proper tennis. Man United have built a tennis court. At last, let's play tennis. Because however good Berrada is, we've never had a good CEO in 10 years. So it would, you know, for me, we're starting at zero. I think Woodward was a crap CEO, and I don't think Arnold was much better. So you could get Brentford CEO, and there'd be a massive improvement. You could get Brighton CEO, there'd be a massive improvement. You could get any footballing CEO, and it would be a big improvement. The fact that we've gone and got one of the best, reputationally, there's going to be improvement. It's sort of like anybody who thinks there's not, and I think this is why Pep's bothered, because there's going to be improvement, because we've been a joke for 10 years. So there's going to be a improvement anyway. The question is how big the improvement will be, because to have a football guy who knows the league, who knows success and knows how to build a club, I mean, you're basically ticking all the boxes. This guy's been at Man City since 2011. What's that? That's 12, 13 years of building a football club. And yeah, Man City may have cut a few corners to get there, but if you've been to the Etihad, it's impressive. They've got a little stadium next to it. It's impressive. Their youth setup is impressive. Their recruitment is impressive. Their partnerships with other clubs are impressive. All that blueprint is there. And Man United, I remember Sir Alex saying they're noisy neighbours. What Man City did is they replicated Man United's success under Sir Alex and then more. Man City's success was very similar to Man United around 2000. After we won the treble, you know, the Vodafone deal, the global tours, the commerciality, the team on the pitch, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of similarities to what Man City tried to build from what Man United had in 2000. And that was when the class of 92 had come to fruition as well. And then we let it slip with the Glazers. United need to get back on track. And I think that appointing a proper footballing CEO is fundamental to that. William Ferguson, thanks for being a member for 12 months. Do you think we will be pushing for top 4 next year if the people above Ten Hag get sorted? I think Glazers love... I can't read that next bit. It was something to do with a part of your body. But look, I think United next season to get back in the top 4 has to be the challenge. And I think that next season would... Look, if I'm being completely honest, I think next season's a bit like a first season for every manager we've ever had. You know, Ollie, Ten Hag, Mourinho, we all got Champions League football in their first year. I mean, I hope Ten Hag's going to be the manager next year, but it might be a new manager anyway. But I feel that as my mate at Salford Uni went to school with Kobe Mainu, I hear he's always been a great character, and I hope the future is bright. That's great to hear. Thank you very much for those super chats this morning. So yeah, give us your thoughts on that. But Pep is rattled. There's no two ways about it. In summary, I wish him all the best, but I don't think he'll do the job there. He won't be enough. We've still got Haaland and De Bruyne, and I'm really upset that he's going. Williams, good morning, Mark. 12 months a member. You're an absolute legend. Thank you very much for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Stockbridge says, Yash, not at my end. Let me just have a quick check and make sure everything's going right for you. I never have to check this, actually. No, got no drop frames or anything here. So if you're getting any worries, just refresh, I think. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe as well. Next thing I want to talk to you about is Plettigol. The German journalist has been talking about our interest in Joshua Zirkzee again. So this story has come to the forefront again, not for the first time. He says that Man United are keen on signing Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee in the summer transfer window, following the Italian side making it clear he is not for sale in the January transfer window. His release clause is around 40 million. Somebody in the chat remind me of Zirkzee's age. I can't remember it. But look, he's done reasonably well at Bologna in Serie A this season. I think he's 22 for some reason. I get mixed up on ages, but I think he's 22, and then Edison at Atalanta, who's the midfielder, is 24. But yeah, I mean, look, he is being linked to us quite consistently. I'm sure we're scouting him. I've got no doubt about that. And he's an interesting profile of striker because in some ways there are similarities to Rasmus in relation to his mobility, his ability to score goals, his link-up play. And yeah, close in age as well. You're right, Mark. Why rattle about a CEO, says Tony. Thanks, Tony. But look, there are differing trains of thought here. And let's have a poll. Let's have a poll on this. And we may have done it before, but I just want to do it again. So if we go either or and we go older striker, younger striker. And in older striker, I'm saying over 25. And in younger striker, I'm saying under 25. So get your vote on what striker you think we should sign in the summer. An older striker or a younger striker. I think there are two trains of thoughts here. If you go for an older striker, it's experience, etc., etc. If you go for a younger striker, well, that can be quite liberating for Rasmus and the younger striker because they work together. There's no, there's no ego. And also, I think the most important thing for me is not really age. It's more about profile. And I would like us to sign a striker that's similar to Rasmus because I look at Liverpool, I look at Man City, and when they take a player off, they bring a player on and they play the same system. And I'm not saying that Jota's the same as Salah or Gakpo's the same as Nunez or Diaz is the same, etc. But they are all capable of just coming on and playing the same style of football. And I think that United need to move away from this. We make a sub and it changes the way we play. I've seen United over the last 5 years especially, and you'll agree with me on this. I've seen United doing reasonably well, and around 70 minutes, they'll make 2 or 3 subs and the game changes, and not for the better. We lose control of the game, the other team comes into it. And I think there's a big reason for this, and I don't think it's just the profile of the players we're bringing on. I think it's the attributes of the players that we bring on. You see Liverpool bring a player on, they're so used to playing that style of football and they fit it like a glove. Man United bring a sub on and they're just not suitable. For example, if you take off Rafael Varane and you bring on Johnny Evans, and Johnny Evans has had a good season, so I use him on purpose. I could have used Maguire or Lindelof. But if you take Varane off and you bring Evans on, completely different players. If you're playing a high line, you're not doing it anymore. And if you are playing a high line, you're vulnerable. If you take off Bruno Fernandes and you bring on Scott McTominay, completely different players. So it has an impact. If you take off Rasmus and you bring on Weghorst, I know they never crossed over, but for example, very different style of player. So last year, Martial comes off, Weghorst comes on, completely different player. Man United have got a real identity crisis in the squad that we can't even put an 11 out that can play the system that Ten Hag wants or Rangnick wanted, etc. But we certainly can't make subs that fit in with that. So I would like to see us buy a striker that is similar to Rasmus in attributes, because basically what you're looking to do when you make a sub these days is freshen up. So if you take a player like Rasmus off after 70 minutes and you bring a striker on like Xerxes who has similar attributes, you continue to play the same way with fresher legs. Whereas if you take Rasmus off and you bring on, Weghorst, completely different type of player, and the team has to play a different way. And I think this is the success of Liverpool and Man City, is that when they take people off, they still play the same way. And I think that is why, for me, regardless of age, I would be looking at a Xerxes or somebody with similar attributes to Rasmus. Not identical, but similar attributes in relation to mobility, running the channels, good on the ball, etc. That, to me, is more important than going, yeah, let's go get Lewandowski for a year. 59% of you would go with an older striker and 42% of you would go with a younger striker. There we go. We need someone like Cavani, says Sakin, who will score goals for us but also helps Rasmus be better. Welcome to the Members Club, are you? You're an absolute legend as well. And can I just give a massive shout out to Jonathan this morning, because 10 of you will be getting your badge in like me in the live chat, because he's just gifted 10. John Nothan, actually, Ditchfield, has just gifted 10 memberships. What an absolute legend. Love that. Legend, Jonathan. Thank you very much. So Xerxes is a player that we've been linked to again this morning by Plettigol, which is a German journalist. I'm just going to repeat this. This is why I spoke about him before I said this, because I think it's really important to say that I am not massively scrutinising the signing of players in the summer at the moment, because to me this is completely logical. We're not interested in signing Xerxes, Branthwaite, De Ligt, Todibo or any other name. They're just being scouted. And there's a big difference. If you're not being scouted, you're not even on the list. But if you're being scouted, you're on a list. And that's a long list for Manchester United. So, yeah, I'm sure we're scouting Xerxes. I'm sure we're scouting Branthwaite. I'm sure we're scouting Todibo. But we're not signing anybody in the summer. It's too big a leap at the moment to go, yeah, we're going to sign Xerxes. And apparently he's got a 40 million release clause, euro, which makes him cheap as well. So we'll certainly be scouting him and we'll certainly be looking at him. But we're not actually, there's no point saying we're signing Xerxes in the summer, I'm 90% sure. Because as much as we might sign him, we're not in that position yet where we can concretely start talking about identifiable targets when we don't have a director of football. And I don't think we're going to have a director of football until Sir Jim's been announced properly. And that's going to be February, I think. But look, as soon as the transfer window's out the way, and as soon as we've got a director of football, I think realistically, when we do get decent links, you can say that that's a player that we're looking at. I know for a fact that Akanji was waiting to come to Manchester United when late February. This was before Ten Hag was appointed. So Akanji was interested in coming to Man United. I think he's a Man United fan, actually. And we'd held talks with Akanji and his agent. And the reason we weren't moving forward on it was because Rangnick was in charge then. And basically the club said, we really like you. All the scouts like you. You know, Rangnick has recommended you. We do really want to sign you. We've just got to wait and see if the new manager does. And the new manager came in and didn't want Akanji. So we didn't get him. But we'd had really strong talks with him in the February. Ten Hag came in the May. We dropped it. Man City bought him. Now, look, I don't blame Ten Hag for that. I think when you come into a job as a new manager and people say to you, this is the player that we want to buy, you've automatically go, hold on a minute, I'm in charge here. I'm not being told what I'm buying. So I understand that. But there was a couple of players that we spoke to in the February that were very, very concrete that we didn't end up signing because we got a different manager in. So when we could be talking to players' agents now, but and there's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, maybe we have had a chat with Xerxes' agent. Maybe we have. I don't know. But it will be on the premise of, yeah, well, we can have a chat, but we don't have the authority to say we're going to buy him in the summer. We'll keep the communication open, and we'll see what the new director of football and potentially, you know, let's be honest, potentially a new manager wants to do. But there we go. But as well, I also think this is really important. This popped into my head. Who cares if Pep's rattled? Let's focus on actually catching City, says John. City will continue to win league titles and get closer to the perch. Meanwhile, some United fans celebrate a We Rattled Pep trophy, says John. Yeah, I'm not celebrating a We Rattled Pep trophy. I find his behaviour confusing. What I'm saying is he is rattled. Read into that what you like. I actually, you know, we've got a new CEO. That's not going to... I don't think any United fan thinks we're back. But the fact that Pep's so rattled about it, you have to acknowledge. If United sign a striker like Tony, Rasmus stays on the bench, says International. Well, we're not going to do that anyway. We won't be doing a deal like that. I don't see that happening at all. Paul Lucas says, I say sack the entire scouting department. One of our members there, Paul. Thank you very much. That may well happen. But one thing that I did want to just get out before we move on to some other news is there are obviously Ten Hag outers, and I understand that. But if we sack Ten Hag, that's going to lead to a very disruptive summer. We've seen it. We know it. And that's not an excuse not to do it. But if we sack Ten Hag at the end of the season, like we did with Van Gaal, it will lead to a very, very condensed summer. And it's very difficult to plan when you sack your manager at the end of the season. My point is here, we knew Ten Hag was the manager in April, and he had to fly over, having won the Eredivisie, the next day and work constantly at United for 2 weeks before he had a holiday because we were behind. If you sack a manager at the end of May, you've got to then appoint a new manager who doesn't really come through the door until June, and then you're 6 months behind. What I'm trying to say is, sacking Ten Hag in the summer would be a bloody nightmare for Ineos in relation to the new manager has to assess. He's going to come in and go, let me take the players on tour again and decide what I've got. We cannot do that this summer. We can't do that again. You can't take some of these players on tour that need to be sold. You can't give everybody a chance again. And if we sack Ten Hag in May or the end of May, I fear it would have a disastrous effect on the summer, because one of two things would happen. A new manager would come in and say, I need to assess the squad before we sell anybody, which will kill the summer. Or even worse, the director of football will pick the manager and just give him what he thinks, which I don't think is a good idea. You need to be working in tandem. So actually, as bad as it sounds, if there is any intention of sacking Ten Hag from Ineos, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't, I would give him the summer and next season. I think that has to happen. But if results dictate that doesn't happen, you'd be better off sacking him in March. Because if you sack him in March, you can actually start talking to your new manager potentially about what's going to go on. But people talk like, let's sack Ten Hag and get De Zerbi. De Zerbi's not leaving Brighton until May, end of May, June. Then he's going to go on holiday. I don't think people understand how catastrophic a managerial change can be if you sack your manager at the end of May. Because, look at Chelsea with Poch. He came in quite late, didn't he, last season? And I don't think they had a very good... Well, they had a crap start to the season, if we're being honest. I think there's a lot to be said for knowing in March who your manager's going to be in August, because it gives you more preparation time. Welcome to the Members Club. Oh no, that's been retracted. I don't know who that was. Who cares if Pep was... I've done that one as well from John D as well. In other news, a little bit of transfer news in relation to January. Let's focus on that for a moment. So, what's happening on incomings? Well, we spoke about this 2 days ago. Sam obviously fed it into me from the United stand. And then since then, we've had it from the Athletic yesterday that it's unlikely that United are going to do any business, even loan deals, because money's so tight. What I will say is that there is still a potential to do something in the next few days. It would obviously be a loan deal, and it would be very last minute. Whether you think that's a good thing to do or not is obviously personal preference, but there is, I'd say it's less than 15% chance that happens now. And I feel that if it was going to be anything, I think it would be Choupo-Moting. I think there's a willingness from him to come to Man United. I don't think there's a willingness from Bayern Munich, really. And I think United are terrified about spending any money. So my tendency is to say no, but it's a constant question while the transfer window's open. And look, it's a fact that the noises coming out of United are that, no, we're not planning to do anything. But we've seen what can happen on the last day of the transfer window. I think the fact that we've only got one game before then probably means that, touch wood, there won't be any major injury in the Newport game. So I think we probably won't do anything. But if we did, it probably is more or less going to be around a Choupo-Moting or something like that, which I would do. I would do that because I think it's always an option, isn't it? But more interestingly, with the outgoings, Pellistri still hasn't gone yet, but he's very much expected to be announced at Granada, and it could even be today. I'm sure Ten Hag will be asked about it. Press conferences at 1:30, and we'll obviously be reacting to that. I think he'll be asked about that. And there still remains a possibility that Man United might do something exit-wise around something that would be perceived to be a shock. I still think that maybe they'll do something with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I mean, that Saudi Arabian story is true. They are looking to bring in a right-back, and they didn't get Emerson Royale from Spurs. So Wan-Bissaka is a possibility. I just don't think Man United will do that deal in January, and I don't think Wan-Bissaka would want to go there. But realistically, over the next few days, it could well be Pellistri, and that's it. I mean, Dan Gore's gone to Port Vale. I think that's a good loan. Donny's obviously gone at the start of the window. We've seen Hannibal Mabry go. So I think that there's... I think United have moved... Joe Hugel as well. We've moved a few players out, but... yeah, financially, United are not in a great position, and I don't think it looks like we're going to do anything. Missing Champions League for the second year is unacceptable for us, says Alexandru. We were in the Champions League this year, mate, so it wouldn't be the second year. Many players leave Saudi, says Wolf. There's still many players going to Saudi, mate. I mean, I was speaking to somebody yesterday. There's 4 or 5 really good players going there in the summer. So that's not stopping. In fact, the news from Saudi is that they're even more determined now to keep flexing their muscles because of what's happened with Jordan Henderson. They're there to build a league. They're not playing at it. And Jordan Henderson may have embarrassed them by wanting to get out and go to Ajax, but the mentality of that Saudi league is, we'll go again. We'll keep doing this until we win. They're not messing about. I know the Chinese league sort of came and went, and nobody really talks about it anymore. But they're not messing around, and there will be opportunities. And I'd be very, very surprised if we don't see some Man United players going to Saudi in the summer as well, so which could be beneficial to us if we're looking to reduce the wage bill. Who's going to go to Saudi in the summer, says Will. Well, look, from a Man United point of view, I still think Varane, Casemiro are very viable options that they would look at, and they fit the profile. Obviously, there has been interest in some English players like Wan-Bissaka, but whether they want to go there, or Jadon Sancho, I don't think they want to go there, but they would definitely be acquired. Osman is massively rumoured to be going there. I can't remember the name of the lad. It was a shock name yesterday. I forget the name. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. I don't know how true this is. There's a bit of a story coming out that Hannibal Mabry has got himself into a bit of trouble again on loan with a bit of a training ground bust up. I say this with a complete pinch of salt. And it might not be something that is completely true. And if it's not, then we will certainly come out and clarify that. But there is a bit of a rumour going around that Mabry might have had a bit of a bust up. He's had one before. Obviously, he had one with Tellez with Manchester United a few years ago. But we don't want to see this sort of behaviour from Mabry. If it has happened, we've seen him on the pitch. He's a bit of a hothead. And whether you want Mabry back at Man United or whether you want us to cash in and get a bit of money, it jeopardises that if he can't control his temper. And he was the lad that came on at Anfield, wasn't he? And Ten Hag was furious with him because he got booked. He's obviously got to chill out a little bit, especially if this is true, because we love the passion. We do love that, but what was the game he played this season? And we really should have took him off because he looked like he was going to get sent off. He's been given an opportunity at a decent club in La Liga to go and play first team football, and he's got to grasp that opportunity. And we don't, I really, really hope that this story isn't true, because he's only been there 5 minutes. And if he's gone there and done that, then it reflects badly in relation to him, doesn't it? Because we've had this problem at Old Trafford. We've seen it on the pitch. We've had it on the training ground. And, IK says anger management lessons. ARJ says he's very toxic, trust me. Well, look, I'm not here to talk about what the personality of the player's like. I hear things, of course I do, and I hear things about other players as well. But, until you meet them, and I don't know. But Klopp leaving Liverpool, what are we talking about? What's going on? That would be huge. What? Jurgen Klopp has decided to leave Liverpool at the end of the season. That is huge. What? I mean, look, there's a massive part of me that's going, that's great for us, but I can't speak. I can't speak. Why? Why? He's coming to Old Trafford. I'm absolutely stunned by that. What are your thoughts on that? I'm absolutely stunned on that, if that's true. I mean, it's from Fabrizio Romano. I can't speak. I really can't speak. I'm absolutely stunned if that's true. I know it's not Manchester United news, but that is absolutely massive. I mean, and it does impact Manchester. I mean, he's just built a new team. He's just built a new midfield. I mean, to be honest, I've been praising Klopp a lot this year because I think he should have gone last year or build a new team. And if he's now actually leaving, having started to build a new team, I think that's absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Stunning. Look, unless Fabrizio's been hacked, I can't believe it. What if he's coming to Man United? No. If there's one thing about Jurgen Klopp that we all know, it's that he is, without doubt, the guy who is all about morals, isn't he? So, yeah, I mean, would I take Jurgen Klopp at Manchester United? Well, we've just taken the CEO from Man City. I think that'd be a massive thing. No. Maybe he just wanted to do one more year. I mean, it's not unusual, actually. It's not. I'm really shocked by this. I'm really shocked by this. I'm just messaging in a few people to see if like Fabrizio's been hacked. That is one hell of a scoop by Fabrizio as well, to get that. I'm surprised about this. I tell you, I'm very surprised. Apparently, he'll go at the end of the season. More is coming out. That's shocking. Absolutely shocking. I'm just getting some more breaking news on this here. We've all sort of been caught out on a Friday morning here. Yeah. Ineos, you've done it. I'm looking at it now. Here it is. Yeah, I have to tell. I will leave the club at the end of the season. I'm reading it now. I can understand that it's a shock for a lot of people in this moment when you hear it for the first time. But obviously I can explain it. Love the club. I'm running out of energy. Wow, it's true. It's actually true. I'm absolutely speechless about this. It's a weird thing because as I said, they've just sort of built a new team, which is it's a weird time to go, but go he will, and Liverpool will be left without a manager. Amazing. I mean, look, we're on the United stand, but that's shocked me. That really has shocked me. On the show this morning. Wow, breaking news. I think I'm gonna go. I think I need to go live on That's Football, don't I? I think we need to go live on That's Football for this. I think this is definitely a That's Football video if I've ever seen it. Yeah, I mean, I almost need to compute it. I mean, it makes sense. He's not coming to Man United, that's for sure. I mean, I think if anyone thinks that's happening, you're wrong. But Jurgen Klopp is leaving Liverpool. And that's going to be a story that resonates for a very long time in the world of football. It's, to me, that's as big as Pep leaving Man City in a way. But he's quitting. He's definitely quitting. That's definitely what's happening. Xabi Alonso will probably go there. Yes, I would say so. I think that makes a lot of sense. Definitely. Wow, the Berrada impact, says Akos. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe, by the way. We've got Ten Hag's press conference coming up for you just after 1:30. I'm going to go over to That's Football and continue to be live. So if you want to join me over there, I'll see you over there in a couple of minutes. Thanks everyone for watching today. Jurgen Klopp has just resigned as Liverpool manager or leaving the summer. I'm going to go over to That's Football and talk about it. Speak to you in a bit.